Okay, hello guys. Welcome to Student,
Spotlight.
where we delve into pressing global issues through the lens of international law. I'm your host, and today we're unpacking the complex and contentious Israel-Palestine conflict from the perspective of international criminal law. To provide some context, the Israel-Palestine conflict has deep historical roots, marked by decades of territorial dispute, violence, and political tension. The recent escalation, however, has brought renewed international attention with allegation of human rights violation and potential breach of international law. Joining us today is
Hi everyone, I'm Sasa Bila Priscilia and
Hi, I'm Oli Sulia Diaksa.
uh, okay. Hi for the Cecil and Olis. So we can start the discussion. First, I'll ask. The current conflict between Israel and Palestine raises significant issues of international law and policy. The attack is thought to have taken place, respond to various pressures, and attack carried out by Israel against Palestine over the years. To date, the number of victims of the Palestinian and Israel conflict has reportedly reached 2,300 fatalities and 8,900 injured on both sides. So, why is Gaza of an area prone to Israel-Palestine conflict?
in Gaza, based on my research, since 28, Gaza has been Israel target for attack because Hamas is there. Where Hamas is a movement that aspires to Palestine independence, Gaza in an area that previously belonged to Egypt. Then was taken by Israel after the 109,067 war, but then at the 109,093 Oslo negotiations, the Gaza area was an authority area, so it was not a Palestine territory. It has remained Israel territory de facto since 109,067.
So, if we look at this conflict, it is a form of pressure from Hamas because, as a colonized country, not fighting would be strange. Moreover, the support of other countries for Israel will make it even more difficult for Hamas. This is what we are trying to find solution to. Almost similar to Indonesia. Actually, it also involves the UN. But at the time, Indonesia not only used violence but also negotiation. Many peace efforts have been made in the Palestine-Israel conflict. Unfortunately, instead of producing results, these efforts failed due to violence committed by both parties. That's it.
Okay. Next, if X if I if X trigger jurisdiction, what is jurisdiction of International Criminal Court over the current conflict?
So we will discuss about five jurisdiction first. Palestine status at the ICC. In 2015, Palestine deposited its instrument of accession to the Rome Statute, the founding treaty of the ICC, allowing the court to extend jurisdiction over crimes committed in Palestine territories. However, Israel isn't a party to the Rome Statute, and it doesn't recognize Palestine as a sovereign state. And the second, about territorial jurisdiction, the ICC territorial jurisdiction extend to the occupied Palestine's territories, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. This means the ICC can investigate and prosecute crimes committed by any party within these territories, regardless of their nationality. And third, crimes with the ICC jurisdiction. The ICC has jurisdiction over genocide, crime against humanity, war crimes, and the crimes of aggression. Allegation of human rights violations settlement construction, and other action related to the Israel occupation could potentially fall under the categories of war crimes or crimes against humanity. And fourth, about preliminary examination in 2015, the ICC office of the prosecutor opened a preliminary examination into the situation in Palestine, which is still ongoing. The examination is assessing whether there is sufficient evidence to warrant opening a full investigation into alleged crimes committed in the occupied Palestinian territories. And fifth, about challenge and limitation, the ICC jurisdiction over the Israel-Palestine conflict is controversial and faces political and legal challenge from Israel and its allies. Enforcing any potential ICC deficiencies or arrest warrants in the occupied territories could be difficult without cooperation from Israel authorities. The ICC jurisdiction also limited by its complementary principle, which means it can only intervene when national judicial systems are unable or unwilling to generalize, investigate, and prosecute crimes. While the ICC jurisdiction over the Israel-Palestine conflict is legally established, the parties practical enforcement of its decisions and the cooperation of relevant parties remain significant challenge in this complex and political charged situation. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Oce. So, can members of Hamas be prosecuted at the ICC jurisdiction because Palestine joined the court? The ICC has jurisdiction over crimes committed by Palestinian nationals, including Hamas.
Member or Hamas be prosecuted at the ICC. If we to discuss in war crimes, this could be charged under Article 8 of the Rome Statute as war crimes because Hamas is a non-state actor. The charge will be brought under the provisions of Article 8 applicable in non-international armed conflict. Although some have argued that the conflict is international in nature due to Israel's status as an occupying power. While the ICC cannot charge individuals with terrorism as an offense, but Israel could. Under the Rome Statute, the prosecutor does not to need the prosecutor does not need to show that an organization or state had a policy to commit war crimes in order to charge individuals with their commissions. This is why war crimes charge are easier to levy at the court the charge of crime against humanity or genocide. And I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, for Cecil. Next, what is your response to the issue of Israel violating international law against United Nations resolutions such as Resolution 240 and 338?
Okay, so my response about the issue of Israel violence of international law against United Nations resolutions such as Resolution 242 and 38 is a complex and sensitive issue. Many countries and international organizations, including the United Nations, have stated that Israel's actions are a violation of international law and United Nations resolutions. But if also additional perspective, sure.
However, Israel argues that the occupation is necessary for security reasons and that the UN resolution is not legally binding. This problem has been a source of prolonged conflict between Israel and Palestine. as well as being a very controversial issues in international relation. That's it.
Okay, then next we will discuss the international legal perspective regarding this conflict and what the views of both parties to the conflict are.
Okay, so we will talk about this conflict from the lens international legal perspective. According to international law, Israel occupation of the Palestinian territories, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem since 109,067, is 67 is illegal. United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 and 338 call for Israel withdrawal from the occupied territories. The construction of Israel is settlements in Palestinian territories is also considered to violate the Geneva Convention, which prohibit the transfer of residents to occupied territories. And
So from both sides perspective, from Israel point of view, they claim that these territories are part of their historical homeland and their settlements were built for security reasons. Meanwhile, for Palestine, the Israel occupation and construction of settlements have violated the Palestinian people's right to independence and sovereignty over their own homeland. So, Cecil.
However, international law clearly states that military occupation is temporary and Israel occupation of Palestinian territories has last too long. The international community through the United Nations has repeatedly condemned Israel actions as violating international law and United Nations resolutions.
That's true, Cecil. We must also recognize the Palestine militant violence and attacks on Israel civilians also violate international humanitarian law. Both sides must respect the laws of war and human rights. Yeah, this is
yeah.
from me.
So I see, and yeah, that's all from us.
Okay, thank you guys for your analysis. As we can see, international provide a clear framework regarding the status of Israel. Occupation and settlement construction is illegal. However, resolving the conflict requires a commitment from both parties to comply with international law and seek a just and sustainable peaceful solution. Once again, thank you for Cecil and Noche for sharing your insight on this critical issue. As the Israel-Gaza conflict continues to evolve, it's essential to remain vigilant in upholding the principles of international law and pursuing justice for all affected parties. So,
Yeah,
maybe
that's all
that's all for
from.
today. Thank you and see you guys.
Yay.